Faster on the beat, let's get it.
Alright, super brand, let's back it again. Welcome to the channel, crew. I'm so excited to finally showcase my OP-08 Enel list. Today we're going to be showcasing my control version of the deck. If you're interested in watching or want to see a more aggressive version, let me know in the comments down below and I will make another video. Because Enel is a leader that you can build in so many different ways and do really well. It's a leader that can adapt to the format. It can be super aggressive. It can go control. It can go mid-range. So right now we're going to be showcasing my control version of the deck. Alright, so let's get into it. So first we're going to start with the tool case. We play 4 of each. We play 4 Charlo Flampe. The reason why is because sometimes people like to starve you 2 to 2 life. So this card allows you to go back to 1 life, play your Yamatos in your 10 down turn. It also allows you to, you're playing the mirror match, they bounce your Karakuri with their own Karakuri. Now you can play Flampe, draw 2 cards, get your Karakuri back, draw a card from the deck, and bounce your Karakuri. Also against, you play against decks that you need to use your Rygos and you don't want to lose that life. You play Flampe, now you have 2 cards, extra 2 cards in your hand for your oncoming plays. And you can do the Rygo without losing a card. So this card is really good, really good. I really love it, and it just fits really well in the control Enel version. Then guys, Franklin, amazing card. Play 4 Franklins because I feel like, you know, you have aggro in the format. You have Susoro, and you have Reiyus. So triggering this against them is really good, especially when it's your last or second life, because be able to establish a character that it can attack their board, put also pressure on the board is really good. Also a loop that you can do in the late game with Frankie is play the 8 cost Karakuri, put it back to your life, because in the late game guys, most likely you're gonna have either 1 to 2 life. So most likely when you do that combo, you want to be at 1 life, so you can do the, I've used this multiple times, like you just play him from trigger for free and you draw an extra card, and it's really good. And of course guys, this doesn't need no explanation. Capone is still one of the best 2Ks for yellow. Choose the fact that it can allow you to win games or survive long enough to outgrind your opponent. It's just so good, man. Capone is just so broken. Have you guys seen the new alternate leaks for the PR set? Damn, that Capone is looking nice on the couch, man. I ain't gonna lie. So guys, for the control version, oh my god, can't speak English. You play the 2-cost Shirayoshi. It's an amazing card against black. It's an amazing card against any leader right now that you want to grind with them. It's, for example, I was playing against Pudding, and my first couple of turns was just play Flampe. I mean, I'm sorry, the Shirayoshi. And then in the late game, I was just doing Rygo, going aggressive on their life. And when it came up that I didn't have more Rygos, right? I didn't have a way to remove their 10 drops. It doesn't matter. I play my aces. I went super aggressive towards their life. And when they were going 12 to 10 or 12 to my life, I was just having a free blocker. Because right now, I don't think any Pudding is playing Amaru. And to play Amaru, they have to be at 1 life. And if they're close to 1 life, they're gonna die. So this card just puts the work in so many different matches. Yeah, it's amazing against black, but it can help you in so many different matches, guys. It's really good for your control version, because your goal, the key for the control version is to grind your opponent out. Let's grind, let's trade resources. Let me keep, you know, doing the healing loop. Let me Karakuri your Gecko Morias. Let me just control your board, and then the late game, we're just gonna go, you know, it's just gonna be too much pressure. We play for the Gedatsu, guys. Gedatsu is an amazing card. It's really good against Zoro. It's good against Ryu. It's good against black in the early game. Sometimes in the late game they have 4 life for some reason, because you're just grinding the game out. You're bouncing the Gecko Morias, and Gedatsu can still give you value in the late game. But it's just, for the most part, it's just early game, because in the late game with Enel, you want to play your Yamatos and your aces and your Katas. Like if you're playing this in your 10th turn, it's because your hand is not that good. But hey, it's a 5-6k character, so it's never bad. Guys, the new addition that we got in OP-08, Amazing card, guys. Nami, man. Like I really I like Onamis. It's an amazing card, and be able to banish, be able to bounce her with Karakuri in some matchups. She can be really helpful for you. It's a free kill of 5 or less. So because Nami, you have to discard a card, but I really love the fact that in any time of the game, I can just play her, discard a trigger card, and kill a 5 or less. And sometimes this is your win con against black. Sometimes it's just trading board, or you putting 1 life. The best place to play a Gecko Moria. You have an Enel on board, or you have at least 2 attacks. You just kill the Nami, and you can go 7-7, 7-9. You have 5 downs to attach to your leader or to your other character, and hopefully they don't have the counter in the late game, because this is like our new Regent or new Amaru, because right now you might see it, but not all of the Lucci players are playing the 4-cost Borsalino blocker. So in the late game, they have a Rebecca or a Sabo that is not protected anymore. This card is so good to close out games. Here, guys, Rocket Luffy, an amazing card. Be able to, like I say, what I love about this build, if you can see, you have control of your outcome for the most part. Onami is an amazing card, but she's more of the luck base. Like, oh my god, if I have a trigger, amazing. If I have it in my hand, okay, I can banish early game, and that's not bad. She might there's so many great cards for yellow. The 5-cost Shirayoshi, the Onamis. Like, I even feel like Amaru is an amazing card. And you have other tech cards you can play with this leader. You can be more aggressive, like I say earlier. There's just so many different ways, and you can still have a lot of success with the deck. If you guys haven't seen, there's a lot of recent regionals that Enel aggro has been doing really well. Why? Because it's hard to kill you, and you just the 5/7 ace, guys, is such an amazing card. Really good across different matchups. And it's like I said, you can go different ways. You can be like, I'm gonna take one of this, 1 and 1, add 3 aces, or add more consistency with the 5-cost Shirayoshi. But I feel with the control version, those cards, yes, it will be nice to make room for them, but you can still do really well without them, because you just controlling your opponent board while building your own board. So it works, guys. It performs really well. So here we have 3 of the 7-cost Enel. Amazing card. If you can play this early against black, and you can keep up the aggression, and let's say they play a jack, you raggle that jack, you go 9, 7 alive, then you Karakuri their geckos, and you go 6 other rest of Lucci, then 8, and just keep putting the pressure through the whole game. It's really good. The only downside is, like, if you have an L and then you don't have an answer to the other big cost characters, it could be scary. But if you see your pieces with an L, guys, you're having a great day. And that goes with any leader, guys. You have, no matter how meta or not your leader is, you need to see your pieces to perform and showcase the strength of your leader. So here, guys, Karakuri, amazing card, guys. I'm seeing some builds doing really well without playing 2 of him, 3 of him. So I understand why they do it, because if you go for the more aggro version, you can play less Raigos, you can play less Karakuris, and just your goal is just overwhelm your opponent with a lot of attacks. So that's why you have to make room. So here, my goal in this list is just to grind the game with you, right? So playing for this is really good, guys. Like bouncing your Gecko Morias, your Ishos. When you play against Red Purple Luffy, bouncer the kids, or the dragon character that you just have rush. It's just really good, because removing their pressure while establishing your own pressure is really good across a lot of matches. People were asking me, in the end I'm going to go across different matchups, but I really like to see this and this against Galgara, because if you can bounce their 6-cost and you prevent them from healing, it's looking good for you. And then if you see your healing pieces, your rush aces, you can outground them. That's your goal with this leader, guys. It's just to hopefully sustain your opponent plays, and in the late game overwhelm them with cards like Karakuri, the 9-cost Yamato. She's so good. Be able to kill something and heal is really amazing. And and I love the card, man. It's just a beautiful card, and you know, you can do so many things. Oh, you're starving me at 2 and you have 3 life. I can kill a 5 or less. It has a lot of value for you. Guys, this right here, man, the aces, amazing. He can work to close. He's amazing to close games. He is amazing to also remove your opponent board. Let's say through the game you're establishing your Enels or your Karakuris, your Yamatos, and then you go start attacking other characters. 8 to 7, 8 to 8, 9 to 8, then 10 to 8. They're losing a lot of cards just to keep their board alive, and that's what you want as an Enel player. Just eat your opponent resources, and in the end, outgrind them. Guys, since our goal is to control our opponent board, it is that's why we play 4 of the Kingdom Come, because it's an amazing card, because you can kill the Sorrow, the 9-cost Sorrow against Bonnie matchups. You can kill the New Gates. You can kill the 10-drop Luffy. You can kill their Jacks, and it's just so good. It does so much for you. Some matchups you live and die with this card. And guys, for the 0 cost, like I say, our goal with control is just to outgrind your opponent, sustain their aggression, and hopefully outgrinding him the end. And playing this where you can just trash your dead cards, or trash an Enel, or trash something that is dead in the matchup already and block a 7k attack is really good, guys. Just a quick recap, guys. You just wanna grind the game out, play your blockers early, then play your removal. For the most part, you want to starve your opponents, so your Gedatsu has more value, even if you drop the Gedatsu on your 7th turn. A really nice play that can change the momentum of the game is on your 7th done, you play a Gedatsu or a Rocket Luffy or a Nami with your blocker, because it's setting up your late game really well. They might remove your Gedatsu or kill it, but then you just have that blocker that can just save a lot of resources for your hand for the late game. You have an ace rested and they're going 12 to the ace, you can just block. You don't have to give in 3 cards or 2 cards out of your hand. For the late game, guys, right here, man, this is beautiful. Just remove their 8 costs or less. Maybe kill a 5 or less, and just keep putting pressure either on their life or on their board with your rush, and go back to 2. It's just really good. And guys, be mindful in the early game what cards you use to counter, because sometimes you might need this for your late game when they're starving you. You might need this, so hold this for the late game where you want to do your Raigo play, and instead of losing 1 life, you can draw 2 cards and still do the Raigo. And if you drew a blocker, establish a blocker. It's just so good. Like in your 10th turn, you pay 1 done. Now you have 9 less. You can swim 6 with leader. Now you have 8. Play the blocker, do Raigo. That's really good, man, against any leader, even either is meta or not. So, tú me dices, ¿cuál es el deck? Ok, espérate, porque ahora voy a hablar de los matchups. So déjame seguir ahí mismo, ¿ok? ¿Puedo seguir? And now we're going to get into the matchups. I'm going to go choose for the matches that most likely you're going to face either your locals, regionals, nationals, store regionals. So, guys, a lot of people are liking the Sue Sorrow. Amazing leader, super aggressive. What you do with a leader, you just starving the whole game. And you mulligan for your Gedatsu, your Namis, and your Monkey D. Luffy. But if you open, in that matchup, if you see your Yamatos, you can have a few counters. Keep the hand, because eventually you're gonna draw your early removal, and you use their strength as the weakness. What I'm trying to say is, like, when you're attacking and you have a little rush, all your characters are rested. So yeah, go to my life. I'm either gonna counter, maybe trigger some removal, and then I'm gonna attack to your rested characters. And if you can just keep removing their board, if you just keep removing their board, and then you slowly play a Gedatsu, another Gedatsu, a Karakuri, a Yamato, an Ace, at the end of the day, you're just gonna outgrind them, and it's just gonna be too much. Then every turn you're going 9 to 5, 9 to 3, 10 to 5, and they're not gonna have counter because they're going Y, so they're losing their hand. And then that's what I used to do against Law. You starve them through the whole game, you remove their board, and in the late game, okay, they have 4, 5 life, but they have no hand, and you slowly, just kill them. Be mindful if you don't have a lot of resources in the late game because you're training board, or you don't have a lot of counter in hand because you were just trying to survive. When you go for a game, don't get too cocky, in the sense that if they have a few blockers or they have 1, 2, 3 cards, what you do is every turn you poke once and you try to heal or establish something. Because if you're giving a couple of blockers and they can do 4 or 5 attacks in one turn and you don't have the counter to survive, you're just going to lose that game. So don't give him the game. Just be smart, be patient, and grind the game with them. Against Kagura, I've been seeing a few comments asking me about Kagura, and I feel like in those type of in locals to regionals, nationals, you might see Kagura. It's a really strong leader. What you do is you want to see your Namis so you can kill the 5 and 7 cost characters, and you want to have counter. And early, they're going to swing 5 with a leader, 6 with leader, place 2 characters. You counter. Keep yourself healthy in the early game. So when they start going 7 and 8, you just take it. And hopefully, if you have good triggers, you remove the characters. What I like to do is also in the early game, is to establish like a character, like a Frankly or Gedatsu or a Monkey D. Luffy or a Nami. And I attack every chunk of their life. They're gonna defend. Remember, their leader works, you take a life and you can play another character. So if you put in pressure on their life, they can go low too early and then you can outpace them. So what you do is you put pressure. Most likely they're gonna ignore your board. But if you have a bunch of 5k attacks in your board, just keep poking a life, eat their resources. So in the late game, it's easier for you to go for lethal. And also, Karakuri is an amazing card because in your end done, if you had this, you can put it back to your life. And also, you can bounce their 6A character, 6 cost 8k character, I forgot the name. And you can just bounce it to their life and remove that pressure. And that's what I usually do. And just trying to control the board, defend early, play your blockers early. But be mindful, they play Amaru. So if you're not going to kill them, and you need a blocker to survive, don't put in a 1 life, because Amaru always can boost 3k to their leader or characters. But if they have 1 life, they can rest your blocker. So be mindful of that. Play around Amaru. Against Pudding, I think it's a strong leader. In a great day, if you see your curve and your ramp, you can beat almost any deck. That's my honest opinion. 10 drop is a card. What I like to do against them is like I always mulligan for Raigo. And I keep, if my hand maybe is not the best, but I keep those Raigos. You take all the hits. Be mindful. The turn they're going to play their 10 drops, you always counter. You keep yourself at 1 life. And then when they play that 10 drop, you do the lead ability. You don't want to go to 0. Because if you go to 0, it's going to be easier for them to go for lethal. And so what you do is you play your block. This is really good to see in the early game. Play your blockers, play your Gedatsu, even if they don't have value. Play your Rocket Luffy's, play your Namis, but you just hold a Raigo. And in the late game, you just Raigo going alive, Raigo going alive. If they play the Karakuri, 6-7 cost, bounce it with Karakuri. We own Karakuri. If they play the 9 drop, 10 drop, the 9 drop Big Mom, Raigo that too. You just want to remove the older high cost characters and keep poking alive. And essentially what you do in the late game, you're just gonna outpace them. Because in the late game, let's say you don't have no more Raigos. Let's say they play that 10 drop and you're like, oh my god, this is getting scary. Play something that heals you and keep pushing alive. Keep attacking life. If you have a Karakuri, you have this on board, bounce it to alive, play Karakuri, play this, swing for 5. And you keep just keep yourself on 1 life. And keep putting pressure on the life, because sometimes you're just going to have a lot of bricks. And ace is really, really good. Try to save your aces as the last resources. Because the turn you cannot remove their 10 drop, if you can just play an ace, go back to 2 and sweep for 10, that's a lot of pressure you're putting. And even if they play another 10 drop, they're just going 12 to 10. You can counter or block that if you already have a blocker. So just be patient. Don't get too over. Don't be like, I know a Big Mom is a card that can overwhelm you, the 10 drop. But just, if you cannot remove it, penalize him. Go full aggressive towards their life. Against a star deck for Team Luffy. I think that's a bad matchup, guys. Because why? Because when they play their Geckos or they play the Issues or their 8 cost characters, they become a 9 cost. So that means you cannot Karakuri them. So what I try to do is mulligan for Raigos and be super aggressive towards their life. and also their board. Like if they have rested characters, go for their board, because in a heartbeat they can just kill you because their leader is a 6k. So be mindful, mulligan for your Ragos in the matchup, play your blockers early, try to control their board. But if you see that Enel, just put pressure on their life and keep putting pressure on their life, and hopefully you cannot ground them, because it's just a bad matchup because your Karakuri are essentially dead. Lucci, guys. Lucci, amazing leader to me, one of the best, if not the best leader of the format. Black just have too many great cards like 7 cost Jack, the 8 cost 9k Gecko Moria. So it's just the best. It's just the best, guys. But what I like to do against Lucci is like I just want a mulligan for my Karakuris. So every time they play that Gecko Moria, I remove that pressure and keep grinding with them. Be aggressive. Play your blockers early if you see them. Remove their board early, but don't stop being aggressive. If you guys can go check out my latest live stream at Lobo, my only loss was against Lucci, my only loss. And it was because in one turn, instead of me being super aggressive, I play more passive, play my Karakuri to bounce a character to my life, go back to 2. I lost so much value because then he played Aisho, then he plays his Geckos, and I didn't have a way to remove those cards. So I know those weird turns where they just play blockers, you're like, okay, what I should do now? The only card that I have on my hand is a Gecko. What should I do? Just play small cost characters like your Gedatsu, your Luffy, and whatever you have on board, go big on life. Because they don't want to go too low fast because they know you play removal and they're scared that you can just steal the game from them. And remember, as us, Gecko has a lot of bricks, so we gotta take advantage of that. So just grind the game with them, mulligan for your Karakuris. Try to remove their Jack, because they gain so much value with the Jacks, and just grind again with them. Sometimes they're not gonna have a lot of Geckos to play back to back. Then you remove their Jacks, you put pressure with your aces, and sometimes you just overwhelm them because you can remove like that. You can remove also like they do, and also play big cost characters. So that's the key, guys. Remove their pressure, be aggressive, and hopefully you can pull it off. But it's really strong, man. Lucci is really strong. Let me see what else, guys, we can think about it. Well, the mirror match. The mirror match, guys. What I like to do is about controlling the board. Whoever can build their board while removing their opponent board is gonna win the game in the late game. So early game, play your blockers if you have them. Play your small characters, and then you just, you play your Enels, play your Karakuris, remove their Karakuris, play your Yamatos, play your aces, and just keep poking once per turn at their life, keeping a 3 life, and then once you have 4 attacks, you go full in their life. But just have a balance, worry about their board first, because whoever loses their hand first and their board is gonna lose the game, because it's a grind game, guys. Early game, you're just playing your characters, looking at each other, and passing. So I've been having games where you just Karakuri each other for like 4 times in a row. So that's what you're doing in the mirror match. You're just starving each other, and you're going back and forth. But if you just are patient, play around the Yamatos. What I'm trying to say is, yes, you want to keep in a 3 life, but if you establish a 5 to kill their Namis or whatever, or their blockers, just play around that. Be sure if you have 5 cost characters that you are 2 life and he's a 2 life. So when they play their Yamato, they don't remove your small characters. It's not the end of the world that they remove your small characters, but I'm saying like whoever has more characters and more resources, and whoever manage their board and their resource better, they're gonna win the matchup. Guys, Karakuri. I've been seeing a few Karakuris coming back. I think you're gonna see more Karakuris once this new star decks get released. Karakuri is the same mindset as Pudding. Mulligan for your Ragos and be aggressive towards their life. And if whatever they play, remove it. Even if it's a Perospero, kill it. If it's a Kikonoyo, kill it. Why? Because in the late game, they can just go 5 with Leader, 5 with Perospero, 6 with Kikonoyo, and then they play a 10 drop. They're eating your whole hand. You're losing the life for free. And then, because let's say you gotta block 3 attacks on their 10 drop turn. You're losing 3 cards. They play the 10 drop, you're losing a 4 card because you need to trash a card to heal again. So remove their board. Even if you heal them, even if they get a search from Perospero, you need to control their board. This is the key for the control version of Enel. Control your opponent board and grind with them, man. So guys, I'm Purple Luffy. my last locals, guys, I faced 2 purple Luffy. Shout out to my brother Kobe's here. I'm so happy he's back to locals. Hopefully he can do it once per week. So excited, man. But hey, you know, my sobrina, you know, Delina, I love her, and I understand. I don't blame him if I don't see her for another 3 months. She's so beautiful. We're so blessed to have her. But he was playing purple Luffy, and I play against another player purple Luffy. And what you do against that matchup, play around the 4 blocker law, defend early. So if you have removal triggers when they play their Magellan or they play their blockers, when they attack on the 3rd, 4th turn, you remove them for free. Because remember, Magellan is a really powerful card against us. But if you can kill it for free from trigger, you don't -2 dons. If you kill their Magellan on their turn, when they're attacking you, you're cookie. You're Gucci, bro. You just, with this, you kill them, and maybe sometimes Rago can kill them if they have 3 life and you have 2. So that's why you early defend against purple Luffy. And be aggressive towards the life. Don't shy away. Even if you give them cards, be aggressive, because the like if you play a Gedatsu, swim with the Gedatsu, swim with your leader. If you have to play an Enel, play the Enel, because you want to prevent them from abusing their leader ability. Because in the late game, he becomes a vanilla leader. So the faster you can do that, is the better for you. And guys, choose a bonus. We have in Blue Doflamingo coming soon. Blue Dolphy, what you do is, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard because they can play 2, 3, 4 characters in a turn. That's scary. But guys, this is what we love control. You just starve them. You play all your characters you want. I'm just going to play my Gedatsus, my Roka Luffy, my Namis, remove your board. My characters are never attacking your life. I'm just always attacking your board. So that means I'm eating your hand. I'm eating your resources for the late game. And in the late game, you play your high chaos characters and you outgrind them. It's hard, man. It's gonna be hard because they can choose spam. It's like Pendulous Summon, bro. We're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, you know what I'm saying? So it's easier said than done. I agree with that, but that's a good strategy. Just start them like Law was the same. Play a lot of characters. Be super aggressive. Sorry is the same. So just be patient. Hopefully you have the counter to sustain the aggression. Play around the pudding, so counter early. Hopefully you have good removal triggers. Play your blockers, play your removal, and grind again with them. And also, before I forget, guys, we have Reiju. Reiju is really good against us. It's a scary matchup. If they see a stage and 20 ECGs by turn 3, man, you're done. It's hard. But what you do is make them have it. Be patient, start them, so you get Datsu has value. Your Nami, this is always gonna have Nami if you don't starve them, but starve their resources, play your Luffys, play your Gedatsu, remove the early board, Karakuri their Ichigi, try to be at 2 life when they play their Ichigi, and when you go to your head done, so you can at least be kind of safe when you play your Karakuri. So try to play your blockers early, Karakuri the Ichigi, so that they don't get to abuse them multiple times, and hopefully you can outground them. But starve them, because Rago can kill a 5 or less when you starve them. This can always kill 4 or less. And yeah, just starve them. Try to eat your hand, man. They always draw like 20 cards per turn, so that's easier said than done. But just starve them, man. This is the strength of this deck. Just starve your opponent hand, remove their board, and in the late game, man, you have a lot of high cost characters that can heal you and just overwhelm them. Right now, guys, hopefully I cover all the matches that you guys are interested in. But hey, I'm gonna forget about Black Yellow Luffy, one of the best leader in sweaty tournaments. Like, who won national? Who's Black Yellow Luffy, man? Come on. So sorry, guys. So against Black Yellow Luffy, what you do is you mulligan for your ACOS Karakuri. If you just start them and you start playing ACOS, remove their 4-cost Kuzen, remove their Luffy, the good Luffy, the AK Luffy, and you just control their board, they're just gonna, you know, they're forced to play the 2Ks to awaken themselves, you know, and they just start making weird plays. Also, if you have a Raigo, keep at least one Raigo in your hand if you like see it through the game. You don't care about this. Karakuri is better in this matchup. Talking in a consistent way. Like, consistently, if you see your Karakuris, you're looking good, man. But if you have this, keep it, because a lot of good Black Yellow Luffy players, they're playing the 10-drop Kusen. And if the 10-drop Kusen sticks, man, it's looking rough. But one strategy, one tip that is really good when they play a 9-cost Zoro or a 10. I'm gonna go with Bonnie too. I'm sorry, I just remember this. I don't want to forget. When they play the 9-drop Zoro, the 10-drop Kuzan, be super aggressive. Even if you're putting a 0 life, go super aggressive to their life if you cannot remove that 10-drop. Because if you just start them, they're gonna play the Rocket Luffy, they're gonna play removal, they're gonna clear your whole board, and you get no value because you didn't attack them. So penalize the Bonnie players and the Playa Luffy players when they play the 10-drop Kuzan. Go hard in life, and if they survive, man, after that, man, hey, man, they were gonna beat you no matter what. But just like I say, I have a good win rate with this version of the deck against Playa Luffy if I see this card. You play this early, you bounce everything, you play decent curve if they make you go first, and you just starve them out. And once you have a good board and he's a 5k leader or a 7k leader, go super aggro on their life. Because then you just, what you do is in the late game, you go 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11. And usually, even if they have the Sabo Gecko play, it's just going to be too much for them. They're not going to be able to survive long enough. And Bonnie, another hard matchup, guys. There's a few hard matchups for us in the set, in the meta, in the card, in the game. But Bonnie, guys, I starve them too, guys. This is the way. Control is the way. You starve them so you can kill their Bonnies. You know, with these two cards, you can kill their Bonnies in the mid game, early late game with the Yamatos. And if they play that Zoro, just wriggle them. Or if you don't, okay. So sometimes they're gonna starve you at 3 life and do the same thing as you're doing as them. So you're gonna kill high cost characters with your Yamatos. If he's a 5 life, I'm a 3, I'm gonna kill your 8s, I'm gonna kill your 7. So I'm still good. But what you do is, if they play that 9 Zoro and you're healthy in life, attack with your whole board, play an ace, go back to 4, and like, okay, come on, give me all those attacks, Zoro. Give me all that card to my hand. Defend the small attacks with the leader, and then you take all the attacks with Zoro. And that's a good way to penalize your opponent. And this is good generically. If your opponent wastes his whole turn to play one character, his board, he's small, what you do is you go all in life. So that you put them in a time bomb. So now you penalize them for just playing that Zoro in passing, or playing that 10-drop Kuzan in passing, because they're wasting the whole turn. Luffy, it will be a 5k when they play that 10-drop. And Bonnie, you have a few Karakuris, a few Yamatos, you're attacking 3-4 times, and you play an ace, and now you go back to 4. It's looking really good for you. Right now, well, yeah, and that's what I do against Bonnie, Playa Luffy. Right now, I don't think there's any. Oh, well, Red Purple Luffy, like I say early when I was showing cases the deck profile, Red Purple Luffy, be aggressive towards the life, mulligan for your Rygos, so you can Rygo their Shanks, their Newgate, the 10-drop, Purple Luffy, and yeah, just, you know, and grind them, because sometimes they're not gonna have more answers. And if you were aggressive early in the game, you're just gonna eat your hand, and you just keep healing with your Yamato, your aces, and it's just gonna be too much pressure for them. I have a lot of matches against all these matches that I just mentioned. I have a lot of gameplay on the channel, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out. We do live streams. We always live streams our locals, and sometimes we edit those games also. So there's a lot of content for you guys if you're gonna see gameplay of it. And I'm gonna make a special live stream, hopefully tomorrow or the next oncoming days, where I'm gonna be showcasing gameplay on the sim with this list, to showcase more in depth why I love this version and why control is the way. Alright guys, so I think I covered most of the matchups that I can remember. Nami, you just pray. It is what it is, man. You're just playing solitary at that point. What I like to do, quick tip, attack every turn and play something. Attack every turn, play something. Why I do that? Because they start giving you those events that's like a 2k. They make the leader go, you go in 5, they give you a 2k. You go in 5, 5, 5, 5, they give you a 2k, 2k. So in the late game, if you have a big board, then you start doing 9, 11s, 9, 11, and hopefully they don't have enough. But if they see everything, man, it is what it is. But guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the deck profile. Hopefully this helps you guys in different matchups. And in the comments down below, if I miss a matchup in specific, don't shy away. Go in the comments down below, let me know, and I will try my best to give you my take on those matchups. But guys, please subscribe, comment. Thank you so much for your support. I love you guys. I love you all. Me and my brother, we're so blessed for you guys' support. A lot of big things coming for the channel, and thank you. Any type of content, different decks you want to see me playing, different type of content you want to see from the channel, let us know. We always read in the comments. So this is your boy Brandon signing out. Take care. I love it.